You have to go apart. How they do.
And I took my medicine this morning, I took my blood pressure medicine.
You ready? We're rolling. Good afternoon. We're going to do a little class on low air and pass devices on our SCBAs. First thing we're going to do is recognize our low air alarm and what to do when it goes off. You know, the low air alarm goes off, we're going to get our partner and we're going to start heading out. We'll always go in with an extra partner or with a partner, and we always make sure that when the alarm goes off, we both come out. Before we go in to a hazardous situation, we make sure that we have our SCBA on and our pass device works in case of an emergency situation. All right, at the beginning of the shift, we'll make sure we log in our packs through our rescue bridge, making sure that we have the right pack so when the chief pulls up on scene, we know who we've got there and who we don't have there. We're always, like I said, always working teams of two. And when we go in, we want to make sure that we have 2 in, 2 out. We want to make sure that we have 2 people on the outside waiting for us to come back out. Right, in an emergency situation, something like an entrapment or you get lost, something happens, first thing we're going to do, notify our partner and start to head out. Don't panic. Think about what's going on. Think about where you're at. Think about the surroundings around you, which way you came in, stuff that you know that you passed on the way in so you can make sure to get back out. All else fails, find a hose. You know, smooth bump leads to the pump. We'll follow that out. If we can't get out, we're going to activate our pass. We're going to cut our flashlights on so that we're strobing, and we're going to call for a mayday. If you get separated from your partner, if we get separated from our partner, we're going to try to find them first. If not, we need to notify the incident commander, and we're going to notify the two out guys on their way in to go look for your partner that you got separated from. The next part of the class we're going to do will be proper maintenance and care of our SCBAs.
Engine 28, Medic 28, 1112 Sugar Creek Circle, Cross Street Creekstone Circle, Unit 1112, unknown problem.
Alright, the next part of our class is going to be proper care of our SCBAs and proper maintenance of what we need to do and how we need to do it. First thing we're going to do when we inspect our CBA to clean it, we're going to inspect it. We're going to check our hoses, we're going to check for damage that's noticeable in the straps and the harness in the back support area. We're going to check our tanks. After we inspect our SCBA pack itself, we're going to dislocate our mask from the regulator, and we'll inspect the regulator as well after we take the mask off. After we take our mask off and inspect the regulator, we're going to take the bottle off. We'll inspect the cylinder for any visible damage to make sure there's no chips, no chunks missing, anything that's going to cause a failure in the bottle. After we clean the pack, or after we clean our air bottle, we're going to go to our pack and we're going to start with just hosing it off with a garden hose. Get all the loose debris off we can to start with. You want to follow your SCBA's manufacturer's proper way of cleaning because we don't want to damage the hoses. high pressure hoses and our low pressure hoses. We don't want to cause damage that's unnecessary. After we wash our pack off, we're going to scrub the bottle down from the debris, from the fire situation we were in. We'll set it to the side to dry, air dry it. Then we're going to fill a 5-gallon bucket with Dawn dish soap, a mild detergent. We don't want to use alcohol. We don't want to use anything that's aggressive, because that's going to break down our plastics and our materials in our pack. We'll submerge our face piece in a solution that MSA has provided us with to clean our face piece. Like I said, we don't want to break down our rubber seals and our mask and cause unnecessary damage, so they have sent us a special solution for their mask to clean their mask and their rubber pieces. Well, then after we clean our mask, we'll clean our regulator, check it for proper seals, make sure that we're going to make sure there's no debris in the regulator itself to cause a blockage when we do put our mask back on. After we wash everything, we're going to rinse everything off, we'll wipe it dry, we'll re-inspect it before we put it all back together, and we'll set it aside to dry. After we set it aside to dry, after it dries, we'll put it back in the place that we need, and we will go from there. We'll go outside here in a second and we'll practice these skills. We'll go over the proper way of cleaning our Scba and what the low air alarm sounds like and our pass devices. All right, now that we've stepped outside, we're going to go back over our low air alarm and our pass device, as well as the proper techniques of cleaning. So we're going to cut it on. We'll make sure our pass device is fully functional. We'll let it run its cycle. Now, your pass is going to be what notifies your other firemen that you're down, or you're not moving, or something's wrong, or you're trapped, or you've also got the manual emergency alert as well. We'll let it run its cycle. It'll run through. It'll do the multiple stages of alertness, and then it'll go to a full alert. All right, that was your full pass alert. Now we'll go into the low air bell and indicator, and I'll just crack the bypass to get to the point. Now, right at this point, you're at 1,595 pounds for PSI left. Once we hit 1,500 PSI, that's when your low air alarm is going to start. And it's going to run roughly down to 500, 400 pounds. And once you reach that point, your bell will cut completely off. When your bell goes off, that's when you grab your partner, you make your way out. Your 2 in, 2 out rule is always in effect. Tell your partner, hey, I'm low on air, he'll also hear you. That's when you head out. All right, now that we've done the pass and low air, we're going to go into the cleaning part. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check all the straps. Make sure our straps are in good shape, make sure nothing's torn or twisted. We'll check our chest strap. We'll go ahead and pull everything all the way out. We'll check all our straps. We'll check Make sure our lumbar support is where it needs to be, make sure it's functional. We'll also flip it over, we'll check our hoses, our lines, we'll check for any visible damage to the pack and bottle itself to start with. If we do find any damage, that's when we report it to our officer, who then in return will tell us what to do per procedure per department. After we do that, we're going to take our face piece off. And we want to check the regulator, make sure the regulator doesn't have any debris in it. With our G1 packs, we do have a heads-up display, so we do want to make sure our lights will have proper function, make sure they're clear. We also want to check our O-rings, make sure our O-rings are in good shape. Once we take our face piece off, we'll set it to the side. We'll go ahead and disconnect our bottle, take it out. We'll inspect the bottle, wipe it clean of any debris that we have. We'll inspect it for any visual damage or any cracks or anything that will cause damage to us or harm to us. If it is damage, we'll notify the air shop and our captain. Alright, after we do that with these G1 packs, the batteries are actually in the pack. So we'll take and we'll remove the battery pack before we rinse off our pack. We'll check our battery pack, make sure it's good physical shape, make sure there's no cracks or damage to it. Alright, before we wash it, we'll make sure there's no loose debris like insulation, or we'll check for insulation or any debris that we've gotten picked up during a point in time. We'll also check this time where our cylinder sits, making sure that our bracket's good and everything's in place. Check our hoses underneath, make sure our hoses are all in good shape. We'll also check our microphone, make sure it's clear of debris. At this time, we'll take and we'll rinse this off after we've visually inspected it and brushed it out if anything needs brushed out. Now, with these packs, MSA recommends using their cleaning chemical, which uses MSA Confidence Plus, and that is to ensure that we don't use anything that'll eat the hoses away, cause unnecessary damage to the pack itself. You know, MSA sends this out, all we have to do is ask for it, and they'll send it to us to make sure that we don't do anything destructive to our packs and face pieces by itself. So we'll take, and after we spot check it, we'll rinse it off. We'll set it to the side to air dry. This time we'll take and we'll check our bottle. Like I said, we'll wash it off, we'll wipe it down. Alright, now we go back to our face piece. The first thing we're going to do is we'll check our straps. Make sure our straps are not frayed. Make sure that we're going to have a good seal on the inside of our face piece. Check our face piece seal all the way around. Check our air intake. Make sure there's no debris in it where air's coming in. Check our exhalation valve. Make sure we've got a properly functioning valve. Now we also want to check, make sure our lights are free of debris to make sure that our heads-up display will work in our pack. After we do that, we want to take our nose piece out. And this formula is 1 ounce to a gallon. I've got a 5-gallon bucket over here, and what I've done is I've already pre-mixed it. So I'll take and I'll drop it in there, and I'll work it a little bit. Take the sponge and wipe the inside of it out really good. And I'll set it to the side. And I'll take and I'll submerge my face piece.
Engine 28, medic 32. Bell Road, cross of Dodson Chapel Road and Stewart's Ferry Pike, Percy Creek Dam, diabetic on Bravo 2, engine 28, medic 32, 3780 Bell Road, Percy Creek Dam, diabetic on Bravo 2.
Alright, once we do that, we'll set it to the side. At this time, we're going to take our regulator off our pipe and submerge it in the solution as well. This will have disinfected. This will get all the chemicals and harshness out of it. We'll rinse everything back off. Get everything rinsed out, we'll set it up to air dry. We'll set that out to dry, and once we get to this point is when we're going to start putting stuff back together. We'll put our battery pack back in the pipe. Get our battery pack back in. Once we put our battery back in, it's going to run the cycle of the self-test. That's what it's doing right now. It's giving a self-test. Self-test is done, we'll put the bottle back in. And we'll start to reassemble our pack and face piece, and then we'll set it out to air dry. Make sure you get all the extra water out. The more water you can get out, the faster it'll dry. Put our nose cup back in. When we put our nose cup in, we want to pay attention to our heads-up display to make sure that we don't block our heads-up display when we put our nose cup back in. Once we get our nose cup put back in and seated where it's supposed to be, we'll check our valve, make sure our exhalation valve is working properly like it should. Josh, you got any questions? Alright. Now our face piece is put back together. Our pack's put back together. Something else that I didn't mention earlier that we do want to check is our air sharing line that we have with the G1 packs. Just make sure make sure the quick connect fittings are in there, and make sure the caps are on, so when if we do need them, that there'll be no debris in it. And we'll pull it back up and put it back in its pack. Now the steps we just went through will be the steps that we use on our practical. Do you have any questions? No. Well, thank you for your time.